Hey, Connie, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you for a second? I'm not here.
Private?
Yeah.
Sure. What's going on?
Past couple days, Laura and Jess from Pennsylvania have approached me and saying, hey, do you know the winners? Are we ahead?
Wait, how did this, like...
They came to my office.
They both came to your office?
Laura came to my office Tuesday, and then we were walking back from dinner back to the Airbnb last night.
Trying to find out if you know who's winning.
I thought it was a little bold.
Wow.
And in recent months, horse DNA was found in what was supposed to be beef products.
This is what's most controversial. Every year, thousands of live horses are fresh, raw horse meat.
You question everything about yourself. Are you really making an impact? Are you really helping animals?
Every wonderful thing that has happened, every horrible thing that has happened, started with one person.
All it takes is one person, and then another, and another, and another.
We're not doing this for us. We're doing it for them. The truth, it's about the horses. I'm a strong believer that one person can make a difference. Together, we can make a change.
Morning, guys. Good morning. Are you ready for the big day? Let's go.
Good morning. Good morning. That's why I'm sitting here like.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, today is the big day. Somebody's name, some organization's name is getting written on there in a few hours. Like, this is real, and I just want to congratulate you all so much for all your hard work that has brought you and your organizations this far. I'm sure you're all really excited to find out when we get to know whose name is going to be on there. Midwest Veterinary Supply Company is bringing us lunch today. They're catering lunch for you all because they really believe in the program and our mission, and yeah, it's going to be a really exciting day. So after lunch at some point, we're going to know whose name is going to be written on that check. So congratulations to you all, and good luck.
Thank you.
It's a big check.
It's a big check.
Yeah.
I don't think I expected it to be that big.
Yeah.
If we win the grant, our plan is to purchase a dump bed trailer as well as a stock and possibly a sweep chute. If we can figure out how to get all three of those, and we might need to do a little bit of fundraising to pay for any additional expenses. But with those items, we think we'll be able to help more horses because we can save money on haulaways, not just hollowing horses, but also hauling in, fill dirt, supplies, even getting hay, things like that.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy to see it, just like physically see it, because it changes everything.
Yeah.
I'm serious when I say I try.
Yeah, well, if we're able to take home this check, it'll do a lot for us and do a lot for all the horses in our area.
If we won, the $15,000 would go towards transportation, so a truck and a trailer.
So are you gonna take a little while to like spend this money, or are you gonna shop for it on our way home?
Oh.
If our name's on here.
Well, we know what we would be able to do with this, and it would be just changing. It would be so changing. We would be able to expand so much. We would be able to help, with seizures so much more. We would be able to help with surrenders so much more.
Biggest need that we have is fencing for the different types of horses and equines that come in. We want to be able to separate them by type so that we can hold more. And then additionally, we are building a medical intake area that we need to create a 10 by 20 cement slab. We're going to add a pre-fert stock and a weight system so that we can monitor the health of the animals. We've made wonderful friendships, and we've learned different techniques and different ways of doing things. And it just goes to show that no matter how different we are and how we do things, the end goal is the same, and that is to help multiple horses and equines.
If we don't bring the check home, it'll be put to amazing use with the other two organizations. They deserve it just as much as anybody else, so.
Yeah, and just the opportunity to be here and to meet all these amazing organizations has been amazing.
This whole experience has been educational, like with the other rescues, and being here and learning from the employees of Horse Plus.
Hey, Angela.
Hey.
Bring Utah.
Bring Utah?
Mm-hmm.
Utah!
Come on, Utah. Where's Utah?
Home.
Yeah,
I think they
home.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
got it. We have 3 questions we want to ask you.
Who do you think should win the $15,000?
That's a really tough question. Very tough question.
Us. We absolutely think we should win.
Utah.
Why?
They really have everything together. They have really got it figured out. They have a lot of help.
I would really love to see, I'm gonna cry. Why am I crying so much today?
It happens when you're on camera.
It's stressful, you're good.
I cried a lot.
Yeah, we cried a lot last time.
We have followed the Full Circle of Life program before we started this mentorship program. We have learned from it, we've taken it and grown. We want to continue to grow. We want to take this grant and run with it.
I really would love to see Hooker Ranch win the $15,000. Lisa and Summer are just amazing people.
Follow this Full Circle of Life idea and program and be a part of this family. So yeah, we should win.
I would love to see Hooker Ranch expand a lot more and be able to help a lot more horses and be able to, put the fencing in that they need, and they could really go a lot of places and help a lot of horses if they could kind of put that expansion in. We would love to win the $15,000, and of course that's part of the reason why we're here. A lot of it was for the education and to be able to be mentored and learn how we can also improve.
If you can't win, who should win?
I know we should say that, we can't answer that, but horse rescue is about making hard decisions. And being around the other rescues this week, I feel like Lazy Bee is a good rescue. And they would do good with the money that they're given. But we should win.
She owns it. Hey, you got to give her credit for that.
Sorry.
You own it. That's fine.
We should win.
That's fine. If you want to own it, own it. I never have any problem with confidence on that.
Second question. What's your biggest take from boot camp this week?
Not everybody has to do the same thing to get to the same result. So it's okay if we're all different. Tawny does things a little bit differently than I would do with the intake process. Carrie does a few things differently than I would do with other situations, as does Katie. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing, which is saving horses and helping get more horses and equines out of the slaughter pipeline.
We learned so much of the workshop, and then we just were able to build on everything here, and being able to sit down and like talk it out with you guys. That was, I mean, I have like huge amounts of notes that we took just from being able to sit down and talk individually with the mentors and with you guys that have won previously.
We've learned things from Shelter Love and from the staff that is not, they're the hands-on staff of Horse Plus with Shelter Love and the different things, and applying that to our intake. Being able to educate, being able to transfer to other things, making the process easier, and the concept of work smarter, not harder.
I need to be a little bit more lenient adopting horses out because I'm so worried about other people not being able to take care of them like we can. Here it comes. I need to be a little bit more trusting with those that want to be more involved and help the horses that we have. So
I learned to use the people behind me, and that would be every single one of you. It's not something I've done a great job of, and I'm gonna get emotional. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. It's not something I've done a good job of. I thought I did, I really thought I did, and I haven't, and I'm gonna do better because I've had a really rough time this summer.
My biggest takeaway would be being able to be here and see your guys' process, boots on the ground, from adoption, intake, as well as being able to pick brains of everybody in the office, of how they do things. Talking to Carrie about the training program that she's established with her program is really amazing. And overall, just the sense of knowing that we are part of this network of organizations that we can always reach out to. So many takeaways to be had, for sure. And we will continue to take away things, I'm sure. So
knowing that other people feel the same way that like we do, and we can reach out to those people and have those connections, allows us to feel like we're not the only ones here, and kind of educate ourselves to see how they handled it, and how when that same situation comes up next time, how to not handle it the way that we did.
Now I can call KT and I can be like, can we just talk? Like, you don't even have to give me pointers. I just want to talk to somebody who's kind of been through something. And I just feel so much better now. Like, I do. I know maybe it's weird, but I just feel like I kind of have a family behind me now, where before I felt like we were kind of alone. And I know after the mentorship program, you guys are like, reach out, but I didn't feel completely comfortable yet. And now I feel comfortable. And you took home Shelter Love, but I took home a family, so.
And that's exactly what it is. I mean, my first couple years, we were alone. We had no idea what we were doing, and we were just running with it, and we were so lost. And then here comes Tawny of like, guess what? Somebody's actually here for you.
You guys are like, ask us. But for me, like, I'm very guarded. And so this has been like the opening up of like, no, we're here for you. And so now I kind of feel like, now I feel like my eyes are open, and like I can call them and I can be like, hey, they're there for me.
Put my cell phone number in your phone before you head home, okay?
All right, the last question is, did either of you ask any of our staff who's going to win or who has the leg up?
No, we didn't. We did not ask.
I hope we didn't.
No.
Yesterday was a long ways away, so.
No.
I didn't. I think we asked questions about Shelter Love, and we asked about applications. We might ask about challenges.
Yeah, we asked about challenges. I kept hearing Carrie in the background from workshop saying boot camp was hard and it was brutal and be prepared. And I'm sitting here going, here's Carrie, like, where's the brutalness? Like, this is our everyday life kind of concept. And I talked to Angela and she's like, there's no shoe gonna drop, just enjoy it. This is like a vacation. Enjoy being away from the rescue and learning and take that in. And once she said that, I was like, okay.
As a family, if there are confusions or anything like that, it's something that needs to be talked about. And we just want to make sure that everything is clear and open. So Dawn, can you tell me about a conversation you had?
Monday with Laura. She came into my office and asked if I knew who was in the lead.
Oh, I did? I don't even remember that I did.
Yeah, I was there.
I'm
I
so
think we were
sorry.
talking about the cats. I don't remember that either.
I don't even recall
Was it
that
just
I did.
Laura that was there?
She was in the office and she was talking in the doorway, talking to somebody passing by.
I'm sorry, I don't even recall that I did.
And then walking home from the restaurant, you were asking about it.
I don't remember that conversation.
I don't either, but if I did, I'm sorry.
I think our conversation when we were walking home from the restaurant, I asked you because I knew this was your first auction that you were going to, I asked you directly, did you have a say in this? Because I know from watching the video of picking the 19 groups that went to workshop, you were one of those. So I wanted to know what your role was with working with Tanya and them and Jason, if you were one of the decision makers. That was the question that was asked.
This isn't an inquisition. This is just trying to clarify.
Yeah. I very well may have. I mean, that's probably the competitive part of me. I mean,
yeah.
I'm extremely competitive. I really sympathize.
I probably jokingly was like, who's in the, I very well could have.
I think that was the therapy office, I think is what we thought it was. Wasn't it the therapy office?
The domestic violence.
Yeah, and I asked, are you helping or, what's your decision with this? Because I know that you're the grant writer.
You asked me what my decision would be.
Okay.
That's why we're clarifying. If it was a communication error, we want to know where the communication error was.
I just felt very uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, and you could have.
Sorry too.
Please tell me that. I am a person that I am a very open individual. If you feel uncomfortable, I can't talk about this, and that's all you have to say. And I do not take anything of that to heart. I have learned over the years of.
Hear us talk to each other.
And that's why we're clarifying before everything is set in concrete. We want to know.
We're making a decision today, a very big decision. We want to make sure that everything's in the open so we understand everybody
and
where they're coming from.
They don't even know still. Like, they are so undecided. That's the way it was last year too. They were so torn and undecided that it's not till like the day before.
You're bringing somebody into
your family.
Well, not just your family. You're bringing somebody into something you've grown from the ground up for 20 years.
And all of you organizations are already here. You're our family. We're always here.
You are still.
You're all here, but we have a decision with a very large check that will change an organization. And that's why I want to make sure everything's transparent. We know everything. And we just want to thank you for coming and answering these questions. And one thing I want to point out, you talked about you have somebody you can call now. And I remember as a young organization, I was so frustrated that I would see sometimes just a really rough case of abuse and neglect in horses. And I was like, I don't have anyone I can talk to about this. And I ended up, I believe it was a dog and cat rescuer person who could relate. And I would call her and I'd be like, and not that we were fixing the world having that conversation, but we were helping heal each other. And that's what this family is about too.
And I think that is when I say like I have somebody to call. It's not necessarily about the actual horse situation, but like we had to talk about compassion fatigue the other night, and that is, sometimes what like I need to call. Like I need help with like, how do I handle myself in this situation?
You're in this network. And we will always be here.
Right.
And as long as you're taking good care of the animals, like if you go off on the bandwagon and you're posting all kinds of wild stuff like, oh, we're rescuing from kill pens, or if you don't rescue this horse, it's going to be shipped to slaughter. Obviously, there's things that can get you removed from this network. Groups have been removed because we're looking for.
I really hate sending that email.
Or posting it.
And We want organizations to have best practices, and your organization is amazing, and that's why you're here. But unfortunately, it's just one check. So we're just asking all the organizations the same 3 questions, and we will make this decision soon.
Thank you.
On Monday, after Laura had asked me what I had thought, it made me very uncomfortable, and I did seek out Angela and Tawny and said, I just don't know what do I do with. Do I just keep it to myself? And I ended up seeking out or both of them and letting them know what they had said to me. I know it's competitive, but when you have the people involved, or at least any of our employees, they shouldn't have made me feel as uncomfortable as I was.
And I know there's a lot of stress and we're asking these questions, but it's so important to always be 100% honest. There's no reason not to be.
Yeah, we're a family, right? We're
And
very transparent.
Families deal with issues, and there was a little issue, and we addressed it.
Well, and competitiveness is not something to be penalized for, but having the maturity of knowing when to be competitive and when not to be competitive is a very hard lesson to learn.
And life is about learning.
We, as a group of the previous winners, have been asked to get together and discuss what our opinion is on who we want to see join this group that we have all joined through winning our individual seasons. And at this point, I have to admit that I am having a hard time deciding. And I'm really curious what the feedback is from you guys on some of these organizations, because originally I thought that I was very much sold on one particular organization being the winner. And now, after some private conversations over the last several days with these organizations, I am now undecided.
Originally, when the episodes came out, I kind of, like when you did the episodes back for May, I kind of had my favorite pick then, I thought. Recent events completely changed that, and now I'm really torn between 2 organizations as well. My pick, honestly, for first place is Lisa in Texas. I think even just from watching the episode, I was kind of drawn to her right away. She reminded me a lot of where we were, and she seems like a really hard worker. But then Kelsey and Gunnar do too, which also reminds me a lot of where we were. So it's really hard for me, but I just think Lisa needs the most help and could potentially do the most with it.
For us, like watching the episodes, we were both pretty much sold on Hooker Ranch because I know that she needs the most help. Down in Texas, there's a lot of horses that need help because that's the end of the line, right? She needs a lot of fence lines. Like, I think that if we're gonna look at it in the total picture, like how we looked at it, like Woody will put the most use to the amount of money. Like the $15,000 will go to every single fence post she needs. But then again, and she owns her own property.
The thing about that too for me is talking to her and getting to know her. She does a lot of her own manual labor. She doesn't go out and find, when she does have the help, all that stuff, but if the help doesn't show up, she does it by herself. She was talking about how she was rebuilding her own trailer when she has time and all that stuff. And so I know that similar to our situation, it's like that $15,000 only went into the actual products that we need, the materials. If she got that $15,000, she would be able to use it to her best knowledge for what she can actually do.
Lazy Bee, they have a phenomenal educational side of it, right? Like the only way we're going to help more horses is to educate more people. So that's where it's kind of hard to choose which one. Granted, Lazy Bee does not own their property, and that's the scary part about it, is when you don't own your property, you don't know waking up the next morning if your person that has the lease is going to go, well, you have 30 days. And they're both aware of it. So talking to them that we did, they're aware of it. They wake up every day trying to find a property. They both are a great organization, and I think that's where we're torn.
Like I said, I'm kind of torn between Lazy Bee and Texas. Both of these other organizations have put some good points both directions. I don't know for sure who I'd choose at this point.
So when we all, the 4 of us, had a lunchtime conversation with these rescues, I asked a couple of really hard-hitting questions, knowing that there's not cameras and there's not mics and there's not Tawny and there's not Jason, and that I might get a little different answer on some of the things. And I was very impressed with the honesty of the answers from both Utah and Texas. I was actually very surprised that Pennsylvania did not share anything, as we literally asked them, what did you see over the last several days that would not work for you? What did you have a problem with the Full Circle of Life program that you saw in action at Horse Plus? What issue did you have? And Utah had an issue. Texas had an issue. And that's legitimate. I mean, that's being honest, that's sharing open feelings about, things that they are willing to do and aren't willing to do. Pennsylvania just really didn't have much of an answer for that, and that kind of surprised me. I do think that some of the answers that they gave me on things did surprise me in a positive manner. They seemed to have a very good fundraising program. I mean, to say that, for one auction rescue that they went in and helped those 20 brood mares, I mean, that's huge, to be able to just go in 4 hours before auction and come up with the kind of money that pulls 20 brood mares out of an auction. I mean, that's networking. And that's something that we have all had a little bit of a concern with, is perhaps their networking abilities. They didn't seem as openly social and networking with other rescues in May, or now that we're back here at boot camp. I didn't see a lot of networking from them, and then to find out that they really have had great successes with networking with other rescues. That was very impressive to me, and good to know that really in their home turf with people they're familiar with, that they really are capable of working as a team with other organizations. That's, I think, very important to know. Texas owning her own property is huge. Utah is absolutely aware of that issue, and moving forward, they really want to remedy that. This is them purchasing a property that they could do something like that. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, we're not talking, 5 figures is going to fix this. I mean, this is going to take 6 or 7 figures for them to fix that particular situation. And this money is an investment into a program's future. And it has to be, where is that money going to buy the most good for the most horses? It's, I guess, a little more clear on which organization would be the better investment as far as who is going to do the most with the 15K. And I think we're probably all three in agreement that the 15K would do the most good in Texas. So I think CHRN can agree that our vote for first place is Texas.
Our vote for first place for the 15K is, Texas.
Yeah, as hard as a decision it is to make, I think we definitely want to vote for Texas for first place. All three of them are great organizations, and I think they're going to do really great things in the end. I just think Texas and Utah just kind of maybe have a little more experience and maturity, I think, moving forward than where Bonded is at this point. I think in time they'll probably grow to be an amazing organization, though.
The one thing that got us for Pennsylvania was that they seemed very really good with what they did with their networking and all that stuff. Like, they were able to pull a bunch of horses and money and all that stuff just in 4 hours. They have a lot of help, and they're really good with that. But when it came to the actual growth and maturity of, what their future is, there was a lot of open-ended questions that they just weren't, didn't feel like they had a future forward as far as this is the step to grow and be big and do all that. But it just comes with time. They're a newer organization. The president's just a little bit younger, and she just needs to start taking a more larger approach and visual aspect of it all.
And not be scared to ask questions. Like, we're here to learn. Like, I'm still asking Tawny questions. I'm still asking you guys questions. Like, we all ask questions, and to take a step back and realize that you need to ask questions is where you're an adult, and an adult organization, I should say, and just understand that not everything that's going to work with Carrie or Tawny or Cindy are going to work for me, but we all need to understand that asking a question doesn't mean that you don't know anything. And so I was just like Lisa and Kelsey have both come up to all of our organizations and asked questions. And for Pennsylvania not to even ask me a single question, or I don't even know if she asked you a question, and it's just, that's kind of disheartening, I guess. You're here to learn, you're here to mentor, you're here to grow as a network, as a facility, and the only way you grow is by asking questions and learning.
The four of us pulled each group aside and discussed, had several questions with them all, with each of them. When we got Pennsylvania pulled aside, the first thing that they had, they did ask a question. So what can we do to get on the edge on this deal? What can we do to get the edge? This is not about getting the money, but it's so much more about the education and the going forward with your organization. We actually were in the running the year before we won and didn't even really get anything going on. The next year, we come out, Connie came out to us, and here we are. We didn't try to cut an edge. We didn't, that's just the way it worked.
I had the distinct privilege of meeting all of these organizations in May, which made a big difference because I walked into this already with an opinion on all of the organizations and who I thought I wanted to see win. When we were getting together in May, I had the same feelings about Pennsylvania that we have observed here, which is there weren't a ton of questions. There was so much material presented. There was so many different topics from so many different presenters. Pennsylvania wasn't asking as many questions as they could to really utilize the number of people that were there and the number of topics presented. There were so many opportunities to ask questions about everything from nutrition to, veterinary shelter medicine, to law enforcement cases, to, just how the basic full circle program works. And there weren't a lot of questions and there wasn't a lot of camaraderie from them that I had noticed there. They were perfectly pleasant. They've never been rude to me. They've never, they've always been lovely to be around. But I did notice a lack of interest in deepening their knowledge. And if Rescue's taught me anything, it's that I am continuously and always will be a student to people who can teach me about any facet of rescue. And I had people approach me while I was here this week, and I had one group very obviously not approach me about anything this week. And I think that kind of sold me on who I think is a better fit for our program. All three of us, three very different organizations, are unanimous on who we think needs to win this thing. And I hate to say a winner because, gosh, there's three great prizes up for all three.
And everybody's a winner on the education.
Yeah, everybody's joining this program. I mean, it's not like we're picking one person that's going to be in the program. We're just picking the one person that's going to get the $15K investment. So I think we definitely need to let Jason and Tawny and Dawn know what our vote is. I know that they all get their own vote in what the winner is going to be, and I don't know if they share the opinion of the three of us or not.
The organizations who'd previously won the big grant came together and they said unanimously that they believe Hooker Ranch Equine Refuge should be the one who wins the grant. Now we have to decide.
And that was their recommendation. We each get a vote. We have to decide who's first, who's second, and who's third.
We told each of the organizations that we'd give them a $1,000 budget to rescue horses from the auction, and we got to the auction, there was no horse auction. So what we're going to do is give a $3,000 grant to the last place organization. The third place organization will have an auction budget grant that they know they can pull from. Our great friends at Triple Crown, they have donated a whole pallet load of feed. So that's going to be tagged on to the first place organization. We have a horse trailer that we were using a lot. 13 years ago, we purchased it through a donation that somebody donated the amount to purchase it. So we purchased it. It's been a great trailer for us, but we do have another trailer that has replaced it since then, and our board of directors decided that we should give it to another organization. So we have the $15,000 check, and we have a horse trailer and a $3,000. So everybody's going to get something, plus the pallet of feed from Triple Crown. So we have some really awesome prizes this year. So nobody's walking away with nothing.
And they have amazing mentorship for the next 6 months.
Absolutely. And the other organizations that weren't able to come to boot camp, like we're still mentoring and networking with them all. It's just, you know, we couldn't have everybody come. So Dawn, from your week of interacting with these organizations, what do you feel about each one of these organizations?
This week, until the conversations with the previous winners, I was Utah. They come out from workshop, boots on the ground going. We're making shelter transfer Facebooks so the shelters in their area could transfer horses around, and their Facebook stepped up, their number of viewers stepped up. So that was my first. And the questions that they were asking at our little round table that we had Tuesday night, they were amazing questions. But then hearing what the other girls were saying, I still on the fence.
Yeah, and I can tell you're getting emotional.
I always do this year.
Like this is a life-changing moment for the organization that's getting the $15,000 check. It's a very serious thing that we have to figure out.
So you said that Utah was your first choice pretty much since the workshop. Have they done anything to knock them off that for you?
No, they have not.
So it's just Texas has proved how great they are.
It's what they would use the funds for, and that's what's got me on the fence, is that they could use it to get their fencing up and be able to rescue more horses.
And they do own like that 20 acres, so.
So one of my concerns with Texas is she says they don't do anything during the summer because it's too hot.
Right.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard a horse place say, we can't do anything for, I don't know how many months, 3-4 months in the summer because it's too hot. That means they're not rescuing, they're not doing all these things for, a quarter of the year. And yeah, it gets wet and cold here. It gets cold up in Wisconsin. I don't hear Cindy saying, I can't rescue, I can't train because it's too cold. Utah, I don't think has that problem. They're out there doing lessons all day, every day, right through the middle of summer. We were out there when it was, 104 degrees and they were still going along. The horses were all fine. So I was wondering if it's more human, comfort thing, why they don't train, train in the summer, even just.
Well, I mean, there's like groundwork you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can be bathing horses.
You can work in the morning, you can work in the evening.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little of a concern for me as well.
And I know that her and I do have conversations with all these rescues, and she has said, there's a horse I really want to help, but it's summer and I just can't do it in the summer.
My concern with her too is the compassion fatigue component of it, and I've had conversations with her prior to boot camp and conversations, during this whole thing, and she still is very much driven and struggling with delegating. Mm-hmm. And as such a young organization that's already battling compassion fatigue, I have a concern about that.
In between the compassion fatigue and the PTSD, they're bumping heads together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she can work through all of it. Like, yes. She's an amazing person, but looking at it big picture, who's gonna hit the ground running with this grant, and who's gonna implement programs the fastest to help more horses?
With that question, it would be Utah.
So what is Utah using the money for?
A setup where they can take horses that have received the last act of kindness, because it's very much city in their area. There's no place they can bury them, but they can take them to a place where they can be taken care of. And making euthanasia affordable and more easy for people can keep horses out of the slaughter pipeline. Right. When there's no options and everything's so expensive, an owner might feel like they need to take it to an auction because they have no other option.
All these other things, it's great to have that option for people, but you can find yourself running ragged and not focusing on your mission. So it's something we'd certainly want to have a conversation with them about.
Yeah, and like we do here at our facility, people can surrender animals to us for humane euthanasia, and we take care of everything. I'm more envisioning that that's the service they would offer.
Sure.
And then that animal, they're taking care of that animal that was surrendered into their organization. So then they would be able to open up a last act of kindness program to their community,
great.
not going to veterinarian offices and picking up
Right.
horses or something.
I also think maybe they were envisioning if somebody has a horse that passes away naturally,
passed away,
they could go pick it up for them. And that's something that certainly would be in the scope of a horse welfare. What's up with Bonded by Strength?
First off, I think they're an amazing organization. I think they do a lot with the amazing things they do in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania definitely needs a strong presence, and I think they can provide that. But for me personally, there was something that happened this year that I'm like, that wasn't okay.
It's not just one thing. It's been several things that have been brought to our attention.
They always show us the good side, and that's where we rely on like the previous organizations and stuff. Like, what are you feeling about these organizations when we're not there?
Right.
Because
everyone has pretty much
everyone's
come up with
had
the
a concern,
same.
but one of the biggest concerns I had was very early on. You came and told me that
she approached me to see if I could tell her who was winning.
So when did this happen?
On Monday, when all the rescues got here, Bonded by Strength came into my office, which is in the back of the building, and asked me if I knew who was winning. This is the first day. We hadn't even been able to evaluate any of the other rescues.
And I just feel like that's so unfair, and it put you in a really rough situation because, for one, we don't make the decision. We rely off of previous contestants. We watch them all interacting. We watch them, how engaged they are, how many questions they're asking. But to come when nobody's around and ask you, like if you did know.
You wouldn't have been able to tell them.
You wouldn't have been able to tell them, but it's just.
It made me uncomfortable.
Well, it's inappropriate. Now, I want to clarify something. We're not relying on the current contestants for information necessarily about the other organizations because if you get two, they're like, hey, let's buddy up and diss that one. We're relying on previous winners, people who don't have an axe to grind.
Yeah, previous people who've been through the whole process, and you know that didn't set well with me. But then it happened again.
Yes.
Like one didn't get the answer, so then
the other one tried. We went to dinner Tuesday night. We were walking home, and they approached me. Jess approached me again and said, "So how's this working out? Do you know what's going on? Do you know who's winning?"
I feel like for them, it's so much about the winning,
competitive,
than about the program and the mentoring. Like so many of these organizations from the get-go is like, I don't care about the grant. I want the mentoring. And I see them answering questions. I see them talking to the other organizations that have won previous years, and all of them said that Bonded by Strength has not asked them questions.
And last night we had another small little powwow, and Kelsey from Utah asked a question, and it was a policy of tier adoption prices. And she was taking notes on her phone so she could remember what Carrie and I had discussed with her.
From the very beginning when they came to the workshop, I started thinking that they're the ones that are going to come to boot camp. They're going to be in this as somewhere. I didn't know how it was going to fit in because she was there constantly taking notes, like trying to absorb everything possible.
And when I first reached out to them in last December, I think, or whenever I was going around getting states that we didn't have grants going to, she was questioning, can you explain this, the auction grant? Can you explain? Every time she put in a grant, she said, did I fill it out right? What other information do you need? I can send it to you.
Yeah, they've been asking a lot of questions when we were out there. They were asking tons of questions. When we were in Texas, again, Lisa was asking tons of questions. When we were in Pennsylvania, I know Jason kept being like, I mean, you got questions? And I'm like, I open up about what's happening with those organizations when they ask questions. I'm not going to be pouring a ton of energy and trying to figure out what questions they might have. And I feel like it's been that way from I mean, I think they're an amazing organization, a ton of good they can do in Pennsylvania, but as future mentors, because that's what this program is.
We're building leaders.
As future mentors, I don't really see it.
I could see Kelsey being a good mentor.
They're already doing that. They're already mentoring other rescues in Utah.
When Bonded found out you were going, she's like, what do we expect? I'm like, ask questions. Same thing with Utah. Same thing with Lisa. Was a little harder to get because she was so nervous. But I'm like, ask as many questions, ask all the questions you need. If you have to, write them down so you don't forget them.
Back to Lisa in Texas. They are absolutely amazing. As long as they can stay focused, I think they can do an amazing thing. I think they have the local resources they need to build their fencing over time. Horse Plus didn't get a grant to build fencing in the early days. Fencing is kind of almost, in my mind, one of those things, yes, it could jumpstart them a little bit, but if they're dedicated, they will get there no problem anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, in the beginning of Horse Plus, like I was out there cutting trees down to make gates for pens and running electric fencing and things, but I think she's an amazing person.
Oh, they're all
and
amazing
I
there.
really, really like her. I see a huge benefit of having her get the facility up to par in Texas, where horses are actually being exported to Mexico. So I'm hearing that you say Utah, Lazy Bee.
Before she said Texas.
I am on the fence.
You're on the
because
fence, but I'm like listening to your conversation.
I think it would be Utah, just.
And then I'm hearing that.
So the reason I would go towards Utah, and this is, you know, we went to a number of organizations and everybody has different styles. Everybody does things a little bit differently. From the beginning at the workshop, everybody loved Utah, and that hasn't changed.
That hasn't changed.
We're literally sitting here trying to find a reason why not to choose them as the winner, and we can't find one.
And then we have the previous organization's recommendation for Texas.
This is why it makes it easier, is because first and second place are very similar prizes.
It is. This year, like, it is amazing. And I think that
makes my decision a little easier.
It makes it a little bit easier. We see Utah as a very strong couple. They're both very engaged. Like, they're their own support system. Texas, her husband's not here, but he was very supportive and an awesome guy too. And I'm sure, you know, he's a little bit more quiet, but I'm sure, like, given time, he would be. I'm not saying we have to pick somebody just because they're a couple, but I see that strength that we have together.
So I think we should vote. The last I heard, they're planning on using the check for either a horse trailer or a dump trailer. It's probably not enough to get both, but Texas would
expand their facility for capacity.
Which there are economical ways, like you mentioned, electric fencing is appropriate for interior fencing. It's not great for perimeter fencing, but it's good for interior fencing.
It's been great this year, but I feel for sure my vote for third place would be Pennsylvania.
Mine too.
I am so torn. I feel like Texas can be such a huge organization, but all of these organizations would succeed, I feel, 100% without us. But if we can give them a leg up, which is the best organization to give a leg up on? So I know you're voting for
Utah,
and I think we're just gonna have to take some time and figure this out.
Let's send the cameras out. We've got to figure this out.
I think we have to figure it out, and it's a really complicated decision. Like, we have two amazing organizations, so.
Yeah, send your mic with them. If you guys can leave, that'd be great.
If you can just leave, we'll figure this out.
Excited.
Why are you so excited?
Because somebody gets money. It's not me, but it's someone.
This is always a really great time of year when we get to do this for another organization and an unsuspecting organization, because they have no idea who's going to win.
So we're really happy y'all are here. having you all here is so exciting, and you know, it's amazing what this network is creating, like this network of horse rescuers across the United States, all working under one philosophy, working together. Like, that was unheard of up to the point of this program. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you for being here and for helping us. Today's lunch is provided by Midwest Veterinarian Supply Company. We get all our veterinarian supplies from them, and they're a fantastic veterinarian supply company. So really happy to have their support. And we also have
Palatech.
And they have some great resources and products. On the tables in front of you, you'll see a bunch of cool stuff that they donated and information about their products. So if you flip through their brochure here,
they have dog stuff.
They have dog stuff. There's an equine, and this is where we're all specializing, in the back here. So in this product, there's lots of different great products. Jason will go over them individually. I just want to point out the respiratory one. With a show of hands, how many times have we rescued a horse, and you all at your organizations rescued a horse that had a respiratory issue at an auction? Respiratory problems are so common with horses we rescue from auctions, and they have a great product that helps these horses. It makes them more comfortable, and all, you know, everything about rescue is making these animals more comfortable so they can heal, they can be happy, and they can go on to find homes. We're really thankful for Palatech's support on this and getting this information to you all as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, number one product I'd like to talk a little bit about is the fatty acid plus granules. So it's basically flaxseed oil. We all know flaxseed is good for us. And so it helps out with skin conditions. I'm reading the brochure just like you. It's quick and easy to administer daily, and you will get visible results in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is pretty good for visible results, I think. And then the other one that Tawny talked about was the Balt Respiratory Advantage granules and the paste. One of the people that uses this uses it for the barrel racing horse because it helps open up the lungs and gives them a little bit of an advantage.
All right, well, we're gonna get this food opened up, and I know you're all really anxious right now because in a little bit I'll be going over and writing some organization's name on that check. And we do know whose name is going on there now. We had a lot of meetings this morning, and we know. So that's exciting.
Don't bother asking me.
Don't ask. So all right.
Again, thank you Midwest for providing lunch.
Thank you. It's been so challenging today making this final decision of whose name is going to be written on the check. And Jason and I discussed for a long time. I went and found Carrie and KT and discussed some more. And then we felt like we needed to bring our husbands into it again. And we discussed, and we finally came to a decision. And this is a very hard decision because there's 3 amazing organizations here. But regardless of who wins, these organizations are part of the Full Circle Life Horse Shelter Network. We're all a big family, and I'm so blessed that these organizations are all coming together, and together we're going to do so many things for horses. So here it goes.
Exciting. Super exciting.
All right, so before we get down to the order that we're all very excited about, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about compassion fatigue, because compassion fatigue is so real, and it is the killer of so many horse rescues out there. And over the last 20 years, we've seen so many organizations shut down, and their founders had such drive and passion for their organization, but their organization literally ate them alive, and they shut down. And I don't want that to happen to any of these organizations here. So when Bootcamp came, I was emotionally fried. I think KT noticed that. I'm pretty sure you all noticed it through the week. Like, I was so mentally, emotionally exhausted that I'm like, you know, I gotta keep going. And sometimes you have to keep going, but you have to be like, Friday, I'm taking a break. Next week, things are gonna be different. There's gonna be time off for myself. So, you know, we had a really, really tough auction rescue. You know,
2 weeks ago, not this one.
2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks ago, you know, where like almost every horse we rescued needed euthanasia, and that's hard. And that's emotionally draining. And I know one organization talked to me and they're like, we had to put 12 horses down this year. And I was thinking, I had to do that in one day. And that's hard. But if that's the right thing for those animals, then that's what has to happen. But it does take an emotional toll on you, like it just does. And I'm just gonna use myself as an example here because I'm a prime person for major compassion fatigue burnout right now. So if all this stuff's happening, a rough week after the auction, here's boot camp, I'm going. If I didn't take some time for myself next week, starting tomorrow, you'd burn out. And then this whole organization might not be still going, and this whole network, and we have amazing people in place, so I can take time and step away, and that's so crucial. And I truly believe that Horse Plus would not be here, and I would have burnt out a long time ago if we didn't take one day every week aside for our family, and just a day we're going to rest, we're going to regroup. And we go to church on Saturday, and that is our day. Now, if there was an emergency here, there's plenty of times I've hauled a horse to a vet on a Saturday. I've been out here, emergency situations. It's kind of an ox in the ditch situation. But for us, every Saturday is our day where we take our time to breathe and take that time to just recharge a little bit every week. It's so important. And I know when we talked with Ponytails about it, they're like, I guess we could take a walk together. Even if you take a little step of saying, I need to take a break for myself, because I can tell you, this week going into this, I'm like, I need to take some time, because if I don't, it was going, and then next week going, and next week auction rescue going. If you don't take that time to pause and breathe, you will be completely burnt out. I wish I would have come into boot camp as charged up as the rest of you all are, but I'm feeling pretty good now. But, it's just take care of yourselves. Take that time, delegate tasks off to other people, take that time to keep yourself in focus. Don't lose yourself within your organization. It's so important, because what you're doing is so crucially important. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be doing it at all, and you're ultimately going to hate it. And I don't want that for any of y'all. So that's just my kind of one last piece of advice, is the compassion fatigue, and take a day, set a day aside for yourself and your family, and don't make excuses to change it unless it's an emergency, because there'll always be another horse that needs help, but we won't always be here to take care of them if we're not taking care of ourselves. So I know we're all super excited about what's happening next. I'm going to take the three organizations for a little walk, and they're going to do some stuff over here.
Some stuff.
And then we'll come back when we hear the bullhorn. Nice and tight little circle. I'm going to talk about Nelson Waters, because Nelson Waters are great. While they're getting set up over here, I'm going to hang out with these folks and tell them about Nelson Waters. I've asked everyone to be very noisy over there. So yeah, we'll just be hanging out here until we have the green light to go back.
So we're prepping the prizes for the three organizations that have been here all week in boot camp, and it's super exciting. And very, very soon, there's going to be tears of joy and probably tears of sadness. And we don't like making anybody sad, but we did our best to keep those little rivers of tears of sadness as small as possible.
SCB Equine Refuge. You're right here. Bonded by Strength Equine Rescue. And Hooker Ranch Equine Refuge. Just want to give a huge shout out to each and every one of your organizations. You all are amazing. And this journey this year has been amazing. You know, usually we were only just going and visiting 2 or 3 organizations, a couple of them, and to get it to the point where we could bring so many organizations together and then go visit, you know, some of you, I wish we could visit all of them. And, you know, we watched your Facebook pages, we watched what you're implementing at your organization, and, you know, it became evident who we needed to have come to boot camp. So congratulations to you all.
And out of those nearly 20 organizations came to the workshop, you guys are the top 3. And you deserve that. You guys put in the hours, you put in the work. We recognize that. We appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of the network.
Yes. So, that being said, I would like Pennsylvania to step forward, right here. Y'all are an amazing organization, and choosing this year has been one of the hardest years we've ever had to choose. But we do have something very special for you because you guys are an amazing organization, but unfortunately you're not in the top 2. When we went to the auction rescue that we had planned and we weren't able to go, we said that we were going to give each organization $1,000 to rescue horses at that auction that night, and we weren't able to. But we know that your organization is totally set up to rescue horses, and you've been rescuing so many horses from auctions and crazy situations that we're giving you a special grant for auction rescues.
Oh, that's great.
And this auction rescue grant, usually, you know, when people are applying organizations for grants, it's like, well, we can do 2 or 3 a month. If you go to one auction and you spend all of that at one auction, we're gonna send you that check right then. It's up to $500 per horse, just like our normal auction rescue grants. But you all are amazing. Choosing was so hard, but I am really excited to see what you're gonna do with this.
I appreciate it.
Stand here, we'll get a picture. Aww.
There was no single thing that said one organization deserves to win over another. You both were winners. There was hours. I'm telling you, people are like, well, you knew who was winning. We had no clue who was going to win. And most people disagreed with Tani and I. But no, it was such a hard deliberation. It took hours.
It took hours. This was the longest deliberation we've ever had. And we didn't know coming into it. We didn't know yesterday.
The decision wasn't final until Betsy pulled in with food.
Yeah, because we were all in here with the previous organizations talking and discussing.
Should we just have the check come out?
So we're gonna step aside and y'all can bring that check out.
Love you guys.
more pranks, right?
Take this to the bank? Yes. We tried. We don't like them.
Can we have you guys all step back to the center though? Just all four of you. And then if you could turn around for us.
Us?
Yep. All four of you. Now keep looking that way. Third place got something. First place got something. Second place, turn around.
Thank you. Wow. It's a 16-foot Featherlight bumper pull, and we purchased it 13 years ago, and it's been an amazing trailer for us. And when we got another trailer, our board said, let's give it to another organization. And we're so delighted that we're able to give it to you. I'm not sure what you can do with the other older trailer, but this one's much nicer, I can promise you. There's one more something. So if you can step aside, we'll let you check out the trailer. You can join Lazy or Bonded by Strength over there.
Turn around again.
We need you all to turn around.
That's why they had to make it noisy so you couldn't hear it. Can you believe that? No. What's under the top? Is it gonna make me cry more?
All right, so
we have an amazing sponsor.
We have an awesome sponsor of this year's event, and Triple Crown has been so incredibly generous to us this year and this event, and I would like to have you turn around. They are giving you a pallet of feed, and this is your certificate you can redeem.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Triple Crown has an amazing product, and they have been so supportive of all these organizations and coming together, and they wanted the first place winner to know how much they appreciate you. So when you fly home, you can redeem that. You don't have to take it on the plane with you. And it's been an honor to have all of you guys here, and I wish every year I wish I had a $15,000 check for everybody, but we gave it all we could this year, and we're so proud of each and every one of you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
This has been incredible.
So let's get you all lined up over here.
Put that there.
All right. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, so you think it might be over? We're still going. Okay, so.
All right, you can get back now.
Okay, we had a great talk about some great products right before lunch.
So Palatech has donated a little sample pack to each of your organizations. So.
And the baby comes with it, right?
And like we heard, they were great products there, and definitely when you rescue that horse from an auction that's having respiratory issues, give them that, it'll make them feel so much better. So just
thank you.
Congratulations, y'all. We are so proud of each and every one of y'all. You all are amazing.
Being a part of the Full Circle of Life network it's really changed our entire outlook on rescuing. We're at a pretty a pretty hard spot actually when Dawn originally reached out to us and told us about your guys' organization and asked us if we wanted to apply for the grants that you guys had, and we were like, oh, we can do that. So going from where we were at then to right now is incredible. So thank you guys.
I just want to thank everybody for noticing us in our infancy and accepting us into this program, for being such a young organization. I would have never even expected to have gone to the workshop, let alone be here with these other two amazing organizations today. And thank you for all your mentorship. And the amazing trailer. I will not forget the trailer.
I mean, clearly saying thank you, but thank you doesn't seem like enough, because like you spoke earlier, it's more than just, I'm gonna cry, but it's more than just networks that we've met, it's family we've created. And it's that family that's gonna guide us into the future of rescuing and saving many horses. So beyond thanks, it's beyond thanks. So thank you for helping us continue this mission that you've started, and we hope to do good by it and really, really continue it. So.
I'm just so honored by all of y'all's effort, and we know firsthand how hard the rescue life is, and it's not easy. And for us being on this side of the network, it's so wonderful having a family across the United States. And we get that call, maybe it's on the West Coast or the East Coast or up north or down south, and we can call an organization within this network and say, hey, this is horse, it really needs help. And to be able to network together like this is just amazing. So I think you guys are amazing, and congratulations to you all.
And welcome to the family.
Do as much as you can possible. I mean, I know that this is gonna help you save more horses. I know that this is gonna help you save more horses. Don't stop, don't ever stop. No matter how tired you get, obviously take a break. We need a break. But don't let the heat, the weather, the winter, anything stop you. Like, this is your mission, this is our mission, this is what we're meant to do. Like, that's why we're here. Just go.
You're joining a pretty incredible, all of you are joining a pretty incredible family, really. A pretty incredible group of people here.
And don't hesitate to call any of us.
No.
I don't sleep very well. Just call. It doesn't matter if you're 2-hour difference, 3-hour difference, just call. It's what we're here for.
We did it. There is a full circle of life horse shelter within a day's drive of every horse in the United States.
And we did it in 4 years. Next year is our 5th anniversary of mentoring organizations, and I am so excited. This is changing the way horse rescues interact with each other across the United States. And we're building such a strong network, not only of organizations, but organizations working well together and networking with each other. And I'm really excited about the future. I'm really excited about these organizations that are part of this network. And they're all excited about mentoring more organizations. So next year is going to be something else.
Next year is going to be absolutely incredible. I don't know what the goal is. We haven't figured that out yet. But I know the goal is going to be get more organizations, more full circle of life horse shelters in the United States, maybe international. We don't know. Next year is going to be amazing too. This year was outstanding. Almost 20 organizations came to the workshop. The top 3 came here to boot camp. And from those top 3, all 3 were winners.
Next year is gonna be crazy, so be sure you watch season 5 of Horse Rescue Heroes.